Hi everyone, this is Zorina, your host at Healnlearn. And just like every other Thursday or every Thursday, depending on the occasion, I'm welcoming Alfredo Diaz, Cards of Truth, holistic coach, love coach. We've had a training with him, but I can tell you that every session with him, every live stream that we have is like a training. So do stick for today's topic. Welcome, Alfredo. What are we going to talk about today?
Yeah, today, hi, how are you?
Hi,
we're going to
good.
talk about how to get emotionally detached from someone. This is a question I saw somebody ask last week. I think it's a very good question.
Great.
So yeah, tell me, please.
Before we jump into the topic, just to let everybody know that I am going to be observing the chat. So if anybody has a personal question regarding the subject, you can ask Alfredo in the chat. And if he can't, he probably won't be able to go through your chart and so on, but he can cast the tarot deck cards, which is good enough for answering a question right now. It's similar to, what is it called in astrology? When you, is it election? I'm not quite sure. When you cast the chart for the moment.
Oh, this is Prasna.
Okay, anyhow, you're sourcing the information from the field using the cards. That's what you're doing, right? So you can answer people's questions if there's anybody willing to.
There are several resources we can use. The casting card is very effective. It's like the same card of true shape. And they can give you information right away. You don't have to look for so many variables. Okay. Last week, somebody asked about how to get emotionally detached from someone. The very first thing I would like to say is that it's a process that is not easy, because we are attached to, especially when it's emotionally, to someone. But I think the very first thing we have to ask ourselves is, in order to assess the situation, what is the point that keeps us attached to the person?
I mean, it's usually some hopes of a nice future together, isn't it?
Yes, but sometimes when the people ask this, the question is how to get emotionally detached. And when you say, hopefully we want to do something together for the future, I think it's I'm sorry. Oh, the phone. I think the person, I classify globally two kind of issues here. One of them can be, a very loving reason, but sometimes we might be confused the loving issue with the functional reason. I don't know if I interrupt you and you were in the same way with me.
Yeah, functional, but maybe I'm introducing yet a third option now, being obsessed. It's almost like being on drugs it's almost like being drunk on your own dreams about the future. Maybe that's what I meant. It's like fantasizing, fantasizing on what could be, while, it's a sort of an obsession also.
Yeah. When you mentioned that, maybe we had to reason that you want to keep going with the person for the future because you had the strong ties with that person, or the obsession is something very internal that you want to fulfill with that person, but it's very internal from you. It's like when somebody in their own beliefs say, I want to get married. This guy is very good candidate. I had a strong feeling with him, but maybe the person is being driven because she wants to get married, not because she loves too much the person.
Obsessed with the idea of
Is the obsessive with the idea.
Togetherness.
Yeah, I think it's a very valid. I think it's included in the loving, but yeah, what happened is when I was thinking in different kind of causes, there are so many. This is because it's very particular. It's not a formula that applies to everyone. Everyone has different causes to be attached to someone. Some of them can be for loving reason, for some beliefs, but sometimes it's also because it's convenient, it's functional, and also maybe you don't want to feel alone or abandoned. There are so many reasons. There are even in different ages, the reason why I get attached to someone is different. Because it's circumstances. Maybe these days I'm not very, demanding. Maybe when I was 20, I was so demanding. It's different. Now, there are some situations people are looking for security, comfort, tranquility. Sometimes people are looking for excitement, for adventure, for something, unknown. And they want to explore with somebody that share that kind of excitement.
I see where you're getting. I'm a bit slow today, but I finally got you. So you mean there are two types of attachment. One is the attachment driven by pure love, and the other one is the attachment that we translate as love, but it might not be love at all. It's some completely other need that we are satisfying through this relationship. Okay.
Like a same interest, I will say. But it's some sort of love. So the point is how to get detached is knowing what is making you be attached to the person. It's the starting point. Because otherwise, if you don't find that starting point, it's difficult to find a way how to fix this situation. So the starting point, what kind of attachment I had with that person, is something that is very personal. You have to ask yourself in a very honest and sincere manner why I need to be attached to someone. Because talking about love, last week, remember, we talked about this romance that produce so many chemicals and is very like addictive. You just mentioned a few minutes ago. It's very addictive and it's very difficult to get rid of because you are like you are full of chemicals. You are living, a situation that you don't want to live that state, I will say, because everything is happiness. You feel different. But as we said last week, is that situation tends to disconnect yourself from reality because your brain doesn't want to process the logic thing in the relationship. The mind just want to enjoy.
But
That's
isn't this the same with love as well, and
Yeah, it's love.
A real love. Okay, yeah, but
Oh, yeah, of course. But I'm trying just to answer a question when you were emotionally attached in love with someone.
But what if you don't want? What if it's not a good thing to be emotionally detached if it's real love? Or we are just answering a generic question.
No,
we are assuming that it's bad for you. The attachment.
You can be mad in love and it's damaging your life. And I think the question is for that, because if somebody asks how to get emotionally detached from someone, it's because the relationship is not working well. Even maybe one of them feels very good, but the other one doesn't feel very good. And you know, when two people get together, maybe you have a match, but maybe one of them have more ties with the person than the other. If the relationship fails, one of them is going to suffer more. If the relationship can continue, the other person is going to learn and to get enriched by the other one. Maybe they can leverage the relationship. But because the question is how to get detached, sometimes we are in love, quote unquote, but we are not in love. We need the person for some reason. Maybe that person is the one that is fulfilling some needs that we have. We don't want to get detached. Maybe this is not the case because the question is emotionally detached. But sometimes we confuse that and we say, no, I need to be with that person. But sometimes it's because the person is giving you some status. Maybe the person is helping you in your economical situation. I'm not talking about that you are there just for interest. Sometimes you appreciate the way that the person is giving you support. And sometimes you get involved with that person that there is a point that you don't identify exactly why I am with that person. I love that person, you might say, but maybe you are not fully in love with the chemicals, I will say.
So how to identify then? That's, I guess, the first step, how to identify what is keeping you in love with that person, whether it's real love or a need.
Well, this is the key. Because when you internalize the question, you will find out, is that real? Is this person is really giving me or producing internally such fulfillment that the ties that I have is something very addictive? Or you start thinking what I'm compromising versus the benefit that I'm receiving. It's a tricky question because, or it's a tricky situation, but you need to be very reflective, because the only person that has to discover that is yourself. You know when you are fully attached to the person with your feelings and your emotion, but also you know when you are in relationship with someone that is giving you support, that you are very grateful with that person, but maybe that person is not fulfilling you full percent in your feelings and your emotion. It's when you, this is the point. When you find the point, the moment when you want to get it emotionally detached, in my opinion, is because your brain starts logically working again.
Mhm.
When you are in that situation when you are fully in love, that you are practically blinded, that when you are just seeing the best thing from the other person, you are in trouble. I mean, you are enjoying it's something that, believe me, I love to be in such situation because it's terrific, it's wonderful, it's like a drug. But at the same time, the problem is that you are blind. It's practically something that happened to everyone. And in this time, when your brain and your body start getting used to the hormones that are being produced by the chemical reaction coming from your brain, you start rewiring again or plugging again the logical part of your mind, and you start seeing the flaws of the other person. I call that in astrology when you start seeing Saturn, because nobody's perfect in this world. It's like our master teacher said, well, we have 7 positions. Each planet owns 1 position, but when you find Saturn, you find the holes in the cheese. It's when you start asking yourself, how much I'm compromising, how much I get compromised, or how much I have to compromise more in order to get the real benefit being with this person. I'm going to build something that really means something higher than myself. The answer is yes, go ahead, because nothing is perfect. You never will find the blueprints or the princess. This is you only see that in Disney.
I think
When they
this was really key what you just said, and I'd like you to repeat it maybe, because that's, at least I see it as the key to answering this question. If you see that there's something bigger than yourself that you can create together, right? This is what you said.
Yeah, because you feel that you are part of something greater, that you can do it by yourself. So if you are creating something bigger, aligned with your love, with your feelings, with your emotion, even with the situation that maybe you are not agreed, but at the very end you feel, well, yeah, I can handle, I can compromise. I'm gonna keep going. Because you're never gonna do it by yourself. You need somebody else to do something greater, to build your kingdom. But when you find out that that person is not the right person, is Mr. Wrong, it's not Mr. Right or Mrs. Wrong or Mrs. Right. When you find Mrs. Wrong or Mr. Wrong, then you want to get detached emotionally from that person. Then, if you find out the cause is I was really in love, but now my mind is telling me there are some yellow or red flags I need to take care of, you need to dimension the problem. And then you decide in a balance it's worth it or not to continue. The question is, I don't want to continue. I want to get detached. Then the answer, once you have identified what is the cause because you are attached to that person, the ties that link you and the other person, and you say, no, I don't want to continue. The very first thing is recognize that you have to give up, just let it go. It's not easy, and it takes time. It's not overnight. So this is the very first thing you need to realize. It's not a push button. Like I say here in the US, everything is a push button. No. Here in the US, Japan, Argentina, Antarctica, wherever, is not a push button situation. You need time. So then when you have concluded that the benefit is lesser or lower than the thing that you are compromising, you need to get it. I have my notes here. That's why I'm checking here, because I want to go for a sequence.
Sure.
There are one thing that I say, well, maybe it's time for the 4 C's. There are 4 C's that you need to confront.
But we have a formula.
It's part of the formula. There is no formula, but it's part of the, we'll say, the therapy.
Exciting. Okay.
Number C1, cry. C2, cry. C3, cry, and C4, cry again.
And why 4 C's?
I said 4 C's because when you are detached emotionally, it hurts so much that you need to expose your emotions. Sometimes you don't want to expose this talking to somebody. By the way, you need some company. But I want to touch that point after we conclude with the 4 C's. But you need to relieve that pain. If you don't relieve that pain, it's going to cause a trauma. And it will give you difficulties for the next relationship if you are able to overcome somehow the situation of the current, heartbroken or broken heart. Why I'm telling you this, the crying? Because some things are you need to avoid the, I call it the phantom or the ghost situation. When someone wants to start a new relationship, but she or he is coming with a ghost attached to, it's because he hasn't closed the previous relationship. That's why the 4 C's is very important. If you cry, it will be a moment that you won't have any reason to cry. Suddenly, you will find out
that sorry for interrupting, just to insert that whenever I've done one of my webinars, Clear Karma, people always cry because one of the exercises is to briefly but fully experience the negative emotions, because you have to acknowledge them, otherwise they will never clear. So you have to reach the bottom. And usually when people build up karma, it's because of unexperienced emotions. They shove them under the rug. And I guess that's similar. It's a similar situation that you're talking about. If you don't experience the pain, you're carrying it all on.
That's correct. And when you carry that with you, one of the things that make people unhappy is carrying this kind of sensation that you hasn't mourning or grief enough in order to close, to get closing with that person. So it takes time, but it doesn't take forever. It seems to be that maybe it takes some, it's relative. I mean, some people can take months, some other maybe, I will say 1 year is too much because it's too much keeping that emotion with you, but let's wait to get there.
Okay.
But the very first thing, yeah, as you said, let's go deep down and cry and take that out. Because yes, it can cause a trauma, and you can bring ghost or those phantom effect for the next relationships. So what I should do? Well, you have to don't come back to the same place where you were with that person. I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna close all the social network, but don't follow. Don't commit that mistake. Don't engage in situation where you have to deal with that person again. I'm not gonna say burn the photos. No, but take it out. You have to clean your sanctuary. You have to clean your environment. Get everything. You are decided to leave that person. Take everything from that person. You want to throw it out, that's okay, but you want to just put it in the bag and keep it. At the very end, I think you're gonna throw it out. But you have to somehow make a restart. Now I'm gonna say yes. Now it's time to start pushing buttons, but button in the favor that you are not relating to that person. Don't put the music that, I mean, you are in in a restaurant and the restaurant put that music in the background, that's fine. Think something nice, I will say something, because all the relationship has many different experiences. Try to get the best thing that happened while you were in that relationship. When you are with, you need somebody, a good friend, maybe your family, a sibling, your parent, somebody that you can trust, practically blinded, and talk. This is, by the way, with talking about Carol's truth, that person is kind of a spade person. They provide presence and they can able to receive. And you talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and cry and everything. Don't carry that by yourself, alone, unless necessary. But try to put like some milestone. I'm going to cry for 3 months, every single day, so many hours. And I'm pretty sure
that's quite ambitious. That's quite ambitious.
To cry or to not cry after 3 months?
No, to cry every day for a few hours is ambitious.
Oh, this is good news. It's part of to be detached. If you don't cry too much, it's because you start forgetting that person. And this is the other exercise. Mm-hmm. Try to identify how many times do you remember that person, and try voluntarily by your own decision. I'm gonna forget this person for half an hour today, and you will increase. Then half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour. how do you do that? I mean, 6 hours, you will realize that, I forget this person for half day. Wow, I'm progressing. And you can accomplish that doing new things. Like we talked, I think, 2 weeks ago. How do you protect your mind? Walking, having good health, eating well, sleeping well, and doing new things. When you do new things, your mind start getting busy, getting focused in other things. In that way, you avoid to get stuck. In that way, you start doing little steps, but at the very end, it will be very rewarding. Because in one point in time, it's like when you start learning a new language and you say, well, it doesn't make sense to me at the very first week or two. But then after some time, you start seeing yourself talking in that language little by little, improving. So in that way, you also get detached to that person.
Of course, you put your focus somewhere else. You put your curiosity, your mind somewhere else. And I would also suggest something that I've suggested in other videos. Just describe in writing the type of experiences and the person that you would like to be with, and see what the differences are. And this will actually, the more you read it and rewrite and clarify more and more what it is that you're looking for, what kind of experiences, and you see the difference, this will logically separate you and you say, it's not really what I want.
Something
kind of far away.
Yeah, something that I have found in all my research is that writing is very relief. It causes a good relief.
Yes.
But very, very important. The more that you write, it's like a logbook about my detachment process.
I would rather focus, maybe if you're going through this healing, yes, but I would rather focus or advise people to focus on the ideal situation that you're looking for. And, at the same time, you can use the tools that Alfredo gave you, like if you'd like to cry 3-4 hours a day, or schedule that. But I think after rereading what your ideal is in terms of relationship, you would quite quickly realize logically that you're on the wrong path, and the emotions will just switch off.
Yeah. There are more tools here. Yeah, the new routines. There are two points that I like it when people said there are 2 things that you need to be forgive. The forgiving act, I will say, or yeah, forgive what happened and be grateful with what happened. Something that can also give you relief. Start doing the things that you would like to do when you work with your ex, but you wasn't able to do it because you work with the ex. When we are in relationship, we compromise our time, other things we sacrifice. Well, let's start doing that. This is the moment that you have the time and the freedom to retake your personal routines that you were not able to do it when you were in the relationship. The other thing, yeah.
What if you enjoyed the activities together so much? Well, and now you're not able to do them anymore.
Well, but you have to do it by yourself. The most important thing in love is loving yourself before anyone else. I'm not talking about selfish. I'm talking about maybe the most difficult love that we have to experience is the love for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the practices to love ourselves is do what I like and what I love to do. For instance, I like a lot to do biking or jogging or walk. Okay, if the person is no longer with me, I'm gonna continue to work. I'm going to continue to use my bike. Maybe instead of using the same route, I'm gonna use another park, a different environment. Mm-hmm. Or maybe I start swimming, but I'm going to be active. One of the worst things you can do is be passive and closure. Don't do that. It's very dangerous. You will be emotionally attached to that person. You're going to be living with a ghost, with that phantom, and you're not gonna, and you are not giving a space for new experiences and for a new person. It's hard. It's hard. It's not easy.
Would you recommend?
Yeah.
If a new person shows up, what would you recommend then for this person that is trying to get emotionally detached and is not fully detached?
It's not fully detached. I don't think. Take like a friendly space, a friendly
stance.
Yeah. Because if you are not fully detached, you are gonna fail. There are very high possibilities that probabilities that you will fail with the second, because you're still with that phantom with you. Mm-hmm. Don't try to substitute with the other person the things that the ex was giving to you. It's not healthy at all. Mm-hmm. Let me see what more I have here.
There's a specific term for somebody who enters a relationship with another who has just ended a previous relationship, and what was it called? I can't remember, but it's something like a spring. Sometimes a person comes in just to allow you to spring up from the depression of losing a previous relationship, and they serve this person this purpose, and then they disappear and a new person comes in.
Well, sometimes the person comes for that purpose, but I mean, I can tell you, in my case, it happened to me. Sometimes I found people that just helped me for few months. I was coming from a very dramatic relationship that was no longer functioning. Yeah. I met someone that helped me for a few weeks, for a few months. And that's it, but it didn't transcend. Yeah. Transcended. I think it's not the very best moment when you are still moving, when you don't feel relief with the other person. Maybe you're gonna be damaging the next person's life. Mm-hmm. Because you're trying to fulfill what your ex was giving to you with a new one, but it's not. It's a mixture. Maybe it's gonna be more complicated. Mm-hmm. It's better to wait a little bit more, and then when you feel that you are ready, you are not crying anymore because you don't have any reason to cry for. Yeah, maybe you are ready for new to meet new people and to give you some time. I mean, it's like when you had a wound, you need some time to heal. You cannot be touching when you had a stitch keep it quiet, even if you are very excited. When you see that your stitches are completely healthy and recuperated, now you can touch it, and somebody else can touch it. So you are ready before you get into another emotional situation. Yeah, because socialize is important. Do the exercise. Yeah, I think one of the most important things is that it's something that it takes time, but it depends too much on your discipline, your habits to take care yourself. I can tell you there, take care yourself first before the other person. Sometimes maybe it's kind of selfish thing, yeah, but if you really want to get attached to somebody that is giving you hard time, think first about yourself and try to keep the distance, the boundaries with the other person, and you have to get healed. Forgive the person and enjoy yourself when you are thinking about the good thing that happened, but don't get trapped by the past. And don't get also trapped thinking about the future or the potential future that you might have with that person if things were this way. No, reality is reality. You have to recognize that. And the reality is you need to start healing yourself. So
you see, guys, what amazing advice Alfredo gives. He offers consultations on healnlearn.com. You can find him on the trainers, and we also have a weekend webinar. I mean, it's not it's a recorded webinar. It used to be a weekend webinar of 3 sessions, Alfredo, Charlotte Common, and myself. The webinar is called Manifestation, Deeper Dating, and Love Mastery. It's a comprehensive course. Of course, it cannot be all comprehensive about life, but it focuses mostly on creating a love relationship, manifesting, getting clear about yourself. This is what Charlotte Common was talking about, the deeper dating part. What Alfredo is also talking about, getting to know yourself, your purpose first. Are we done with the topic, Alfredo? Is there anything else?
I'm pretty sure I have so many things to say. Every time that I that I watch my video again with you, and I say, oh, I should say this. I should say this. I think, I mean, let's make it simple. I think it's no simple process. Yes, I would like to add this. In the Caros True, the number 10 is kind of the magic number because it's called the number of passion and endurance, but it's not easy to reach number 10 because number 10 contains all the other numbers from 1 to 9. Mm-hmm. To accomplish that, you need to be a master. But to become a master, you need time. And when you have to rehab from an emotional broken heart situation, you need time. But if you take care of yourself, doing this little step by step, I'm pretty sure you will find your number 10. Once maybe you don't realize that you accomplished that. The number 10 is the magician. Is the magician in the tarot, to say a comparison. When you, at least, I mean, when you had that situation, when you are maybe in the most painful situation. And when you are in number 7, and part of the number 8, because the number 8 is when you are realizing that you exist as a person, but you love first. And you have the resilience to move forward. And when you find yourself in that situation that you are capable to move forward and leave the other person, you are even capable to love and see the possibility, many options about love, and the love in many different flavors. With you, with the people around you, with the universe. It's giving you kind of mastery. Every time that you broke up, if you overcome that, you will be able to have like a universal love. And then you accomplish the number 10. Because it's the reward that you have gone by your passion and your endurance, working with yourself, protecting
Overcoming
your
yourself in a way.
That's it.
Awesome. I love this talk. It took an unexpected turn at the beginning, and thank you for bearing with me until I finally got it. Guys, if you have any questions, now is the time to ask in the chat. I'm gonna wait a minute or two. Today is, by the way, I just checked the card of the day. It's the 3 of clubs. 3 of clubs day today.
This 3 of clubs is very good in the sense that is, and number 3 is flying apart. It has to do exactly with what we are talking in the thought, in the mind, in the it's when you leave the nest and say, I'm gonna try my wings. I'm gonna test my wings to see if I'm strong enough to keep my fly only by myself, so I can gain in independence. Independence.
It's the innovator and experimentator card I know from you.
Yes, he's the innovator.
Yeah.
It's passing from the 2 when you are together with someone. But then when you realize that you need to be by yourself, to be independent, you need to test yourself to accomplish the number 4, which is I'm fine myself secure with balance. So you want to get detached and find to be secure and in balance, try the 3. Like the energy that we have today.
It's a good hit of the topic.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Alfredo.
Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, you will find all the links to contact Alfredo below in the description. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, comment and like, or,
thumb up.
Critic or give us whatever comment you think is constructive or